Alright, Dylan, here we go. We're in our stance, we're in our setup. The first thing that I want to look at is where you're in relationship to the ball when you set up off the tee. As you can see, this pitch is supposed to be down the middle, but you can see the ball is just inside your front foot. So actually, this should be set up as an outside pitch. In an ideal world, if you'd set up properly on the tee, the ball should be slightly in front of your front foot. So when you're doing your tee work, make sure if you're working on a pitch down the middle, it would be slightly in front of your front foot, kind of where I've circled this ball, where a ball should be. So I got a feeling that when we start swinging, you're really going to spin off on this ball because you're going to kind of get ahead of it. So when we get to, we're at frame 3, you're in a loaded situation, hands by your back shoulder, get to frame 4, and you can start to see how this front shoulder really starts to dive in. Now the only problem with us diving in with that front shoulder is that everything is equal and opposite. So if you dive with this front shoulder, your next movement probably is going to be this way with that front shoulder as well. And you can see on the right, you've got J.D. Drew. Hips and shoulders are more straight away at the pitcher. So when we load, we want to think about loading straight back instead of a rotational. So that's frame 4. Looking at frame 5. Now, kind of like I said, you can see where I left those lines there for you. You can see where your shoulder came down and immediately now come in, it's flying open. And you can see where your hands are kind of dragging behind you a little bit. Let's clear out some of these lines so we can see what's going on. On the right, you can see where J.D. Drew's got connection with his backside, shoulder, hips, and elbow as the bat's coming forward, and he's not really dragging that behind him. Now we get to frame 6 at contact, and you can see you get squared up. And at contact, the thing I want you to really notice here is how your chest, because that front shoulder flew open, your chest and belly button are now kind of facing the pitcher. Where you can see on the right, where you got J.D. Drew, his chest and belly button are really kind of stabilized at contact, which is keeping him behind the ball. So one of the things for you to really focus on when you're working on tee work, front toss, and BP, or if your dad or coaches, is really think about contact, keeping your chest and belly button at contact, not letting that fly open. And then on the next frame, you can see how immediately, because that front shoulder is already open, your next frame, your front side and the barrel is going to come out of the zone. Okay, so 2 things to work on. 1, set up properly for off the tee, not over rotating on your load, and then really focus on keeping your chest and belly button at contact and down and over the baseball instead of it flying back at the pitcher. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call. Thank you.